reality, the connectedness between everything. That's reality. You know, we're not separate beings. We're not separate from the grass. We're not separate from the trees. We're not separate from each other. We're all like flowers on that one thread. Sharing that connection of one human being, looking into the eyes of another. And it's about the way we live. It's about the society that we're creating. We just got to learn how to get along. When I see Stonehenge as a crucible for all of that, processing these issues,
This is the tale of a culture clash. The current guardians of our heritage against a religion outside society's norms. And it takes place at Stonehenge, possibly the most famous prehistoric monument in the world.
In the farthest arch, the heel stone. You may have to move a pace or two to see it clearly. On Midsummer's Day, the summer solstice, the sun
on one side, English Heritage and the National Trust. English Heritage look after the stones and their immediate vicinity in the name of the 900,000 tourists who come here annually. The National Trust look after the land around them. The other side of the culture clash, a community for whom Stonehenge isn't a visitor attraction. Pagans and Druids. Every solstice they gather here to celebrate the dawn of the new season.
Happy solstice, everybody! For the winter solstice. Hip hip! Hey! Hip hip! Hey! I've been asked by English Heritage to say, please get off their bloody stones. Otherwise, have a great solstice.
The pagan rites are barely tolerated by the guardians of the stones.
Hi guys. Hello there. If you'll start me wearing, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
Until recently, even these muted celebrations weren't possible. For a decade, the culture clash turned violent. Summer solstice, the flashpoint. The stones closed to the Druids. Pagan pitted against police in a series of bitter running battles. This year, the fear is that the bad old days could be back. Summer solstice once again threatens the tenuous peace.
It's like we are the hobbits, and they're the orcs. They're the orcs.
Whether the current peace will hold depends on the aptly named round table negotiations, conducted in the dining room of a Wiltshire hotel.
Has everybody got coffee? Who wants coffee? You're always going to get dissent, and there's a large body of people out there who really do want a festival or a return of the festival. Now, we can't have that.
Well, good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year to you. There's a few new faces around the table. If I can do a couple of introductions, then if we can just whiz round. I'd like to introduce Patrick Begg, who is from the National Trust.
Project Director.
Project Director for
Area Manager for Wiltshire.
And both organisations would say that we've got a slightly controlling edge to us when it comes to the kind of assets that we look after. And yeah, that's natural when you've got such sort of jewels in the crown to protect. And this is, you know, a real jewel in the crown.
We've got to try and get this through this year and, you know, pray God that we can work together.
What I would say is the last 3 years, there is virtually gone to clockwork for this year.
George Fursoff from the Stonehenge Peace Process, and I'm a pagan priest.
I used to be a protester, I got arrested and all that, but I could just see it wasn't going anywhere. The idea of the Stonehenge Peace Process is you do it by talking.
Yeah.
Round is an aspiration. Pear-shaped, like conifer pears, I would say, is, it's not like we have equal relationship on the round table. It's very much camps.
This year, nobody can agree when to celebrate summer solstice. Working with astral charts, Druids want the night of Saturday the 22nd of June. But English Heritage want to stick with the conventional date of Friday the 21st.
My concerns are that we cannot hold back 25,000 people and say, awfully sorry, chaps, it's not the 21st, it's the 22nd. Yeah. There will be potentially an invasion on the 21st, because people will say, I'm going in regardless. I don't give a stuff whether spiritually it falls on the 22nd.
A solution to the whole thing is to open the car park on Saturday morning or at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. Have it open all day. It doesn't need much supervision.
Come back to reality. You are not in reality.
There are many levels to reality, right? There's the reality of whatever your particular vision is for Stonehenge, and then there's the reality of the fact that there are thousands of people in this country that desire to gather in the summer in an extended way. That's a reality also. Now, to me, if we're only going to open for 10 hours, not 12 hours, for the comfort level of the people that are going to come and the disposition of where those people's heads are going to be at, that happens on Saturday night, because then they're in a much more mellow space. It's going to be a lot easier to manage them on Saturday night. Okay. So that's what I want to say about that.
From a Welsh Constabulary perspective, I would say the celebrating of the dawn of the 21st rather than the dawn of the 22nd.
You're talking...
I'm talking Friday night into the Saturday.
I won't participate in it, because for me it's very important that pagan celebration should take place at pagan celebration times, and you couldn't ask a Jew, a Muslim or a Hindu to change their sacred days for administrative convenience, So at the end of the day I have to draw a line on that one.
A lot of people will turn up on the morning of the 21st.
I think our ancestors have the answer, because they've been doing it a lot longer than what we have, and how they gained the respect for the stones, and that set the agenda for where they should be, when they should be there, and how to treat the space.
But we can't hold back the waters of all those people that might turn up on the 21st. Now, if you can tell me how we do that, I'm very happy to listen.
So English Heritage are going for an administrative easy one, where they're dropping all the spiritual people down in a dump. And that is why I'm going to walk out when this decision is finalised. You made this decision behind closed doors and are pushing it down the throats. The fact that we're talking
George,
about...
I'm sorry, no.
That is what has happened.
George, no.
That is what has happened.
It is not a done deal at all, and I object profusely for you to take that line. It is unfair and it is unnecessary. And hang on a second, George. Don't make comments then saying that we're pandering to an administrative answer. We're not.
It is a done deal.
If you're going to walk out, I think that is a retrograde step, because you have got a lot to contribute, and I don't think it helps by saying, I'm going to leave.
I'm not participating in the round table, and then look for some way that myself and people like me can celebrate the solstice, which may well be on the avenue on the National Trust field,
Those raised fields are National Trust open access. They're open to anybody 24 hours a day. Those fields are National Trust open access, and they are there to be used. But what the National Trust doesn't want to do is promote necessarily that access.
Well, under my proposed scheme, I would actively promote it, because we're saying the stones are closed, but you can go in overnight into the National Trust field. So I think that would be an important part of that.
But I don't think it's at all useful for anybody to be making a threat, whether it's veiled or otherwise, about a particular kind of access. It's just
now. I know that English Heritage and I know that Wiltshire Constabulary both want the earlier access, the Friday to Saturday, but what about National Trust? We have no position on this. We're sitting on our own fence.
There are some real sensitivities, and that's where the Trust primarily is treading a very fine line.
What was your preferred option, though?
That was the question. Can you still see on it from the Trust point of view?
Oh, yeah, the whole thing.
It's just a very, very tough problem to think about how you manage.
Patrick Begg never gave a clear public answer to this question. But with the date unresolved, he was privately less restrained about English Heritage's plans. The Trust fear confining the event to one night, Friday, would leave them facing a weekend of destruction on the land and villages they control.
We make sure that we're not going to be clashing with each other, in public. It's something that, never looks good and, rarely happens. But that doesn't mean that we don't discuss things in very open and honest way.
This is very interesting. A little bit safer that way.
Brian is both philosopher and roofer.
I guess it'd be a real scoop if I fall off, wouldn't it? I think as far as English heritage is concerned, they really got to start taking responsibility, true responsibility for what it is that they're in charge of. I mean, they call us the counterculture, but we're not. We're the culture. The counterculture is all that other stuff. The culture that we're embracing is the culture that's common to all human beings: life, freedom, celebration, happiness, health, children. The life of Brian.
The summer solstice. The sun rises over the Heelstone, and its rays.
The culture advocated by English Heritage is that of health and safety. They want the same standards of care applied to solstice as they do to the stones every other day of the year.
It has to be that we manage whatever we manage safely. And of course, the other one is our longer remit to the long-term conservation and preservation of the stones. It's a very, very fine balance.
Clues and the Wiltshire Police are looking for a huge open space where solstice worshippers can park. They're terrified by the prospect of vast crowds this year.
We're here.
Got to be able to separate fear from reality. I find that when I get scared, I actually physically, I actually see the roof go steeper. I can see it happen. The fear distorts reality, and then I overcompensate. Maybe I'll lean back further, and therefore to reach over, my center of gravity is higher, and therefore I'm more in danger of falling. And it's just because my mind has said that it is different from how it really is. And so learning to separate fear from reality up there, it helps me do it down here too. Because we're all walking around with that mix. It's like water and milk mixed together. You can't really distinguish between the two. They fear a change in the status quo, and they'll feel secure with that, rather than the unknown.
I mean, it is a hell of an area, isn't it?
Yeah, it's too big. You'd have to have the infrastructure in there in terms of the lighting, and it marked out just in case.
We certainly don't want to encourage more people to come, but equally we don't want the AO3, 303 completely log-jammed, do we?
No. Again, have to be a little bit careful. Right.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I prefer not to have any additional car parking, but...
Because, we distort reality with people, and we think people are this, that, the other, they think this, that, the other, but they don't all most of the time. It's all in their own heads.
It's scary, isn't it?
As English Heritage worry about containing the solstice, the National Trust are increasingly openly championing their more relaxed approach. Let solstice spill over the weekend.
We've got a huge untapped potential for getting people across the landscape here. And, it's our statutory purpose. It's what the Trust's about, is bringing people into landscape and giving them untrammelled access. There are conservation reasons for why English Heritage obviously don't do that, but we do need to know what the limits are for that stone circle. We don't just want something to happen here, we need something to happen.
The second round table. People are nervously awaiting the solstice decision.
I think it's going to have to be the 21st. Right. Purely because, as much as I would really like to try to allow access on the 22nd, it's actually not practical. I'm fine, thanks. Okay, right. Today, I think the critical thing is to discuss and follow on from our meeting last time, which was about dates. We've got to be mindful of the fact that local people do not want to see a return of the festival if it's over 2 days. So, having had loads and loads of discussions with the National Trust, we have actually come to the conclusion, and that will be dawn of the 21st, i.e. night of the 20th, dawn of the 21st. You know, if you can bear with us this year, I promise you it has not been an easy decision. So we would then anticipate people then departing from the Stones by 2 o'clock on Saturday the 21st.
People are not going to get time to rest up after being up all night and partying. They need a bit of time to sleep before they take to the road for safety, yeah?
Yes.
Well,
one of the things that might happen as a result of what you're doing is that people are going to be driving either intoxicated or half asleep.
But the responsibility, English Heritage can not take the responsibility for people who are driving and drunk.
If you are creating a situation by closing a car park which is illogically early, considering the climate of the situation, then you are part of that.
These are lives. And if you take a look at all the laws that have been developed over the years, one of them is about people that drive when they're about to fall asleep. This very issue could save a few lives, yeah.
If you were a driver, you wouldn't stay up all night.
They want to stay up all night, they want to celebrate, they want to be there for the maximum amount of time.
But hang on.
Well, I saw it. I mean, you saw very well sitting talking about this around this table and saying, yeah, that's how we'd like it to be. But the reality is that there'll be 10,000 people who won't get any sleep that night.
That's right.
Whether you like it or not, whether it's responsible or not, that's the reality, you know, and they're not going to get any sleep. Yeah. And then they're going to be turfed out of the car park at 2 o'clock on the road, sleepy, maybe still intoxicated. No,
Jerry,
it's our responsibility if we are creating a climate in which that is forced upon people. You know?
We're not forcing anything on people.
So what is risk assessment all about?
Absolutely.
What is risk assessment all about? It's about looking at all the possibilities of what might happen as a result of what you're doing.
All I would say to you, Brian, is they would have to be sleeping off all day and probably halfway to the next, bearing in mind the amount that we've seen consumed at solstices in the past. There is some personal responsibility on individuals. How long would you suggest the car park stays open?
Last time we were throwing at about 5 o'clock, weren't we? Something about 5 o'clock in the afternoon?
No.
We shut the car park at 2 o'clock last year because it takes us a minimum of 6 hours to clear it.
Yeah. What are you proposing then, Brian?
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. That would give people time to have 3 hours sleep.
The youth that I believe I represent, okay, see that Stonehenge offers a spiritual place for its development of its art, you know. And in this country, we pioneer festival. You know, it's the youth. Yeah.
I appreciate you say some people want to party, but Stonehenge isn't a venue, it's not a party location.
Entertainment is the word.
You might not think that Stonehenge is about playing rock and roll and dancing and playing drums, but an awful lot of people who go there do think that.
I don't want to see the drums in the circle again.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, no, people that come to the Stones, not everybody wants the drums. For health and safety reasons, we may be forced to minimise the numbers in the Stones, and therefore the drumming or poetry or other activities will have to be at satellite points around the Stones. We may have to do this for pure health and safety.
We have to draw a distinction between the issues that are health and safety and the issues that are the imposition of what is a concept of what is spiritual at the Stones on the rest of us. Yeah. Because for some people, playing drums and playing rock and roll is as spiritual as singing Onward Christian Soldiers,
some people,
right?
it's a damn nuisance. They don't want it, you know.
But the point is, if anything external to you disturbs your sense of spirituality, that's your personal problem where you're not making a connection. It's not anything to do with what's going on there.
In my heart, there's a drum beating, and it says, I want a connection with my ancestors, all right? And I believe that the Druids are like the bridge between us and our ancestors.
But health and safety is non-negotiable. Let's not confuse health and safety. And we've never used it as an excuse. It's been because it is how it is.
Clue stands firm. Brian gets nowhere. spring equinox. There is uneasiness within the pagan community about the summer solution. English Heritage will allow access to the stones on one night only, for 10 hours in total, from 2 in the morning till midday. Neither the date nor the limit on time at the stones are popular. After 3 years of managed access, pagans want to try something new.
No, I don't think this is a
For all my stuff.
I've had
He's all ears.
too much druid fluid to care. Now this, you got to see. They were all here for me at one stage. And that was because I spent 14 years in Salisbury Police House fighting for free and open access for this place. But more importantly, the thing I really want, you've been there and you've filmed and you've seen us performing in our temple. I want it rebuilt, I want it put back so I can practice my faith in my temple. I want Stonehenge put back up.
What do they say?
I haven't asked. We'll see.
But the main issue remains, the desire for a festival and a weekend-long gathering, not one restricted to 10 hours.
Well, there's a field across the road from the stones. There's a field this side of the stones. We've got a car park up there. You know, we'd be quite happy to be able to camp for a few days close by. It doesn't have to be inside the stones. And what's happening here is unnatural. It's sanitized.
Emails start to appear in Stonehenge chat rooms. Dissatisfaction is rife. People canvass for a mass gathering on trust land at summer solstice. And the finger of suspicion points to Brian.
What I don't know is exactly what following Brian has. But there's no doubt, if you're in a situation and you're pushing something on the web, and there's been a tremendous amount of web activity in terms of animosity towards English heritage and what the Wiltshire Police playing at, and certainly some of the things I'm seeing all the time is, why don't you answer? And sometimes we do answer and wish you hadn't done so.
It's information about Stonehenge this year, solstice. Stonehenge solstice information? Cool. Come dance in the stones. I'm not a leader of anybody, and I don't really think the police see me that way. I mean, I'm the only person standing giving out flyers here, right? I'm the only person selling Say Yes to Peace t-shirts, so I haven't got such a great following. I'm just a voice from the wilderness, really.
He has said, Jerry, you don't trust me. And I've said, of course I do, Brian, but I must say it's up to a certain point.
I mean, I feel like, it's like a nuclear reactor, If you pull uranium out of the core or you put it in. You know what I mean? And I feel very conscious not to put the uranium in the core because we don't have a very stable, I don't feel like we have such a stable body right now dealing with this. I mean, we couldn't, if we put the uranium in the core, that is to really communicate to the world this whole little Historian issue, there'd be 100,000 or 200,000 people gathering at Stonehenge. This generation is ripe for one of those. This generation hasn't had a big gathering yet. Every generation has one of those that just goes bang. And it would take nothing to activate it, really.
mine did not put the uranium in the core. Fission comes from an altogether more unlikely source. The National Trust. The Trust have allowed pagan priest George Fursoff to celebrate solstice on their land on Saturday evening.
And the National Trust are completely okay with it?
Oh, they like us doing our procession for some reason. They think it's an appropriate use of their landscape there. And so they've given permission for that to happen.
We just have to look at the evidence and where we've been with solstice. And when we were heavy-handed, tough, over-worried about unruly elements, what did it do? It provoked even more trouble. We got ourselves in terrible knots, exclusion zones, razor wire, police charges, all that stuff, a disaster, and it spiraled and spiraled and spiraled, and we needed to do something to turn that around. Be more relaxed, trust people, and it's worked on our land by not being heavy-handed with people as well.
This poses a threat to English Heritage's desire to concentrate solstice on one day. To their mind, it raises the spectre that the bad old days of 30,000 people camping around the stones for a free festival are back.
I mean, in essence, I have absolutely no problem with George wanting to do what he has done quite successfully on other years, which is come from Woodhenge, come across the National Trust land. However, this year I am very worried about that. We have to go back and talk to the Trust on this, because if this is a risk, the risk is actually not to the National Trust land, it's what happens then at the stones.
There will be 100, and I don't doubt that there will be more than 100 in that field all day. Because there's nothing, there's no injunction, anything, it's open land.
We will have, I suspect, exactly as we've always had, that hardcore who refuse to move. There's lots and lots of traffic on emails suggesting that there are going to be protests, and the flavour is changing slightly. It's getting a lot more antagonistic, yeah. My concerns, Scott, are that if it grows like Topsy and you suddenly find that you've got 400, 500, 5,000 people on your land, the impact is not going to be on the National Trust and on National Trust land. It will be on English Heritage, Stonehenge and the Wiltshire Constabulary.
Do you have something by way of a suggestion that you'd like to put to us?
No.
The only way that we see ourselves dealing with that situation is we don't wish to be confrontational in the way that people access the land. They're free to do. It's a very difficult, a very fine line to be balanced.
What happens if you suddenly have 100, 200, 300, 400 cars? But what happens if you've got hangers on?
We don't have the resources to deal with it. If it's going to be a problem of that dimension, we simply don't have the resources to deal with that. Again, we're relying on police and other emergency services. And really, it's as much as I hate to back away, it's not our responsibility.
We're going to be drawn in several directions, and there's only going to be a certain number of us there, and that's where our concern comes from. It's just unfortunate that it's now creating some real pinch points which we could have done without.
Whichever way you play it, the impact falls back on English Heritage and our staffing, our stewarding, the people on our site, the potential damage or not damage to the stones, the people that are there.
The suggestion is not that we're not taking this seriously, because I can assure you we are. And in terms of manning and resources, we're doubling up on our previous years.
I mean, please don't think we're saying you haven't taken it seriously. All I'm saying is we could end up with a fairly major incident which damages the whole process. And that's what worries me.
Now, I understand that they're scared to death of this alternative gathering happening. But, it's reality. That's what people want to do. Yeah. You push it down here, it comes up there. You push it down there, it comes up here. Sooner or later, you're going to have to integrate it into the culture.
It's coming back to the essence of what we are, and that's about providing access.
Yeah, so you're a bit more relaxed, basically.
Well, we're there to provide access. Of course we are.
As long as people keep the bylaws, there's nothing to stop people gathering there.
Access is access.
It's just that it's not necessarily something that previously the Trust had widely broadcast.
Well, they should communicate more, shouldn't they? You know, I mean, the whole issue is a lack of communication. It's a result of a lack of communication, because there are no bad people here. There's no bad people in English Heritage. There's no bad people in National. There's no bad people in the alternative community. Everyone is just here living their lives and wanting to have a fulfilled life.
Scott tells me that there is a real feeling in English Heritage and the police that we've got it wrong, and that we should be doing more to try and inhibit George's event this year. The policy is that we have a light touch at Stonehenge. Trying to stop that, in our view, would be counterproductive and cause a flashpoint. Still positive and based on partnership. Thank you.
The partners decide they'll try to persuade George not to publicise his event.
Well, I think there's a problem there. You're encouraging people to go there and you haven't told them how to do it.
It's just a normal day.
Yes, well, local people may know that, but people from all over the place, they don't know one field from another field. So nobody can get from Stonehenge to the National Trust fields. That's what you're now telling me.
We're not saying same way that we've done before.
Yeah, but people don't know. I know they will be able to, but they won't know how to.
George, then you can turn up and tell them. George, the situation is we're not going to start saying to people, this is how you get on National Trust land, and I think we've got to bring some common sense back into the argument.
You're not saying there's some harm in telling them that then.
We don't want to be saying to everybody, here, go in that field over there. People, freedom of choice, they will go where they wish to go.
If you put it on a map, that gives people the freedom of choice. If you don't put it on the map, you're taking the freedom away. Well, I'm not going to carry on with this.
No,
it's just those who are afraid that there might be something happening. Bring it bubbling up.
If we start saying to people, there's a National Trust field, go there, or if they start saying, our field is here, that is going to actually create that problem.
I don't agree that if lots of people go walking on the National Trust field that it causes a danger of any kind.
Nobody said that was a danger if you are encouraging 30,000 people to do it.
I'm not in touch with 30,000 people, Arthur, so it would be impossible for me to do that.
George, will you let me finish? Their worry is if 30,000 people turn up on their field because we've put it out on the email, you can go here after it's closed, we are then responsible.
I know what I have to do and what I want to do, Arthur, and I don't like being badgered like that. George. But clearly there's a lot of heat involved in this, you know, and when I raised this issue before about encouraging people to wander over to the National Trust land and signing it on a map, nobody disagreed. Some water has gone under some bridge.
George isn't backing down. The email traffic is building in intensity.
The question is, of the individuals that are putting that out on the web, is there a situation where they can engender a lot of people to assist them in that? Because it does worry me.
And you're just like English Heritage and the police and the authorities and everything they're angry about, right? So you have to create a real relationship with them if you don't want this kind of stuff to happen. What if 40,000 people turn up this year? What are your plans? How are you going to deal with it?
In terms of numbers at the Stones, we have 30 acres.
I didn't really feel my question was answered of how you would actually deal with 20,000 people that show up. How are you going to deal with it?
Well, it's up to us to manage this.
Yes. Well, who knows? Anything can happen any time, right?
It's running a bit late. Do we...
have had enough. In league with English Heritage, they decide to have it out with the Trust face to face.
Clues has got an absolute wealth of experience. In fact, it's been her life, as far as I can see, for the last 10 years, of the ups and downs of Solstice. But there is just a feel that she's suspicious of the Trust's more relaxed approach, and I think you need to hold your ground with Clues, because she is absolutely, when she gets her teeth into it, vehement about something. She does know what she wants, and you know, she thinks hard about things, but they're often based on what has been, rather than thinking completely forward about stuff.
What I want to do is just make it very clear as to what it is that National Trust have said to George Firzoff and his group of 100, I think it is, what exactly has been allowed and permitted.
It's now circulating within the community that the National Trust is saying people can just stay in their fields, and it's not good.
We could start to see what looks like, or the start of a return of the festival.
Because Brian has got a voice, and he's using it, and he's saying to people, right, we can come out of the Stones Triangle, go across the road, and get into the National Trust land.
The potential for squiffing the 9 years of work, basically. That's the worrying bit.
They are looking for somewhere to go for a weekend, and I think the perception is it's your land.
But you know, the concern I have around that is, you know, when we look at, you know, the whole of the Solstice event, as we've all seen, a year's worth of planning and preparation and massive resourcing and contingency.
I know it's an impossible situation that you're caught in.
The question would be, what would you like us to do? Close the land? Well, that's an impossibility.
It's impractical. Totally impractical.
Yeah.
It's just, how do we manage it?
From our point of view, it's easy to control that. Not easy, but it's relatively, compared to controlling our bit, that triangle's a doddle.
I understand.
And if you put, I mean, you say, well, English Heritage have got clear parameters, but that's because they're easy to set. They're not easy for us to set.
The bottom line is, it's your land, it's your responsibility.
We are absolutely clear that we've done everything that could be termed reasonable. But if you tell us it's not, we're happy to look at it again. I mean, to be honest, it's down to, you know, if you, as the police, say that we're not doing enough, then we would listen.
But I think one of the questions I would ask is, how are you going to get stewards to go in and remove 5,000 people?
Well, we can't, because we don't have that number of stewards. It gets to the point where, you know, you start to think through the scenarios, actually, and when you put them alongside each other, they all look pretty unpalatable, actually, and difficult to manage. So it's not as simple, you're not doing your job, National Trust, you should get people in.
I think it's to make the general public fully aware that the National Trust is not a soft touch. You can't come and do what you like on our land.
No.
Which I think we are heading towards. The perception is that you can. You know, the National Trust will let you do anything virtually. They'll send their wardens round who will advise you, and that's it.
There are opportunities to pick the phone up in between and not have it just explode at meetings. You know, it's easy just to give us a ring.
The difficulty for you is that you haven't been in that historical process. Things to you that may seem very minor have such a...
And I'm sorry, you know, if you didn't pick it up, but I know Jerry and I both thought we had expressed concerns quite forcefully. And, you know, hey, as I say, what we've got to do now is manage it.
Yeah. Okay. And if you want any historical knowledge, you can always give us a call and we will let you know.
It felt a little bit difficult to be told, given the size of our land, that we're not doing enough and that we ought to be doing more, which is what I took away from it, really. Is, you know, backs are being covered, I think. And I think, okay, if we were in that position, I think we'd do that. People in this day and age, you know, people want to just have their backs covered about things where there's liability and folk and damage at stake, where people could get fingered for not having done enough.
Together in partnership.
Together in partnership. Still in partnership. I mean, I hope that came out today as well, is that although we were a bit tense about some things and we have disagreements, we still can't manage it without doing it together. Because if we do it separately, it's that route lies madness, because nothing will happen and we'll get miles away from each other, and before you know it, the bean field will be back and we'll all have lost.
It's now too late to stem the electronic tide. Awareness of the National Trust's position is simply too widespread as protesters spread the word. Patience with Brian is at an end.
We've got individuals sitting around the table with us, and they're saying one thing, and then behind the scenes they're doing completely different, which has been our concern all along.
So either they buy into it, or they shut up. We should be, I think, in the sitting room. What they're saying is it's their right to camp, it's their right to be able to have access that night, and if they don't, they will just force entry. Brian, you still are quite sort of vociferous in saying that we've got the wrong date.
Well, what I have said is that I can't remember the details, but I try to be integrity in what I say, because I can't keep Mark on board in any conversation with me or anybody if I'm just a mouthpiece for you. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of how you see your responsibilities that I don't agree with, right? And I wouldn't be in integrity if I said, yeah, I agree. I don't. You know, at the same time, I do agree with the peace process, because there is an alternative to peace other than war, right? But I feel like we've got to be able to say what we really feel, to be in truth with each other, but still stay on board with each other at the same time. And that's what I'm attempting to do.
Isn't there an issue, though, with all of us sitting around this table, that in essence, you cannot sit on the fence? And I'm afraid you are sitting on the fence on some occasions.
Well,
no, hang on, let me finish. We accept the problems there are over the 21st and the 22nd, but that is the reality.
Well, the reality is that we really don't have a say in what the outcome is. It's been decided, and we've been told that we need to go along with it or forget it.
It wasn't imposed. It was debated at length. Now, either you're on board, Brian, or you're not.
Would you want me, if I disagree, not to come to the meetings? Is that what you're saying?
No. I think it's the wrong day, Brian, but I will back clues in the interest of peace.
In my own defence, I haven't specifically addressed any of that. All I said is I don't believe that you're taking your responsibilities as custodians of the stones, and therefore the gathering... Excuse me, please, and let me finish. Please, I cannot believe how rude you are at these meetings every time I speak, and I wish you'd just let me say what I have to say and butt out, and then you can say what you have to say.
Hang on, Brian. Right. Let's not have any arguments.
That's been going on for every meeting for the past year, and I'm tired of it.
Yeah, well, actually, Brian, sometimes it's very difficult, because we're trying to move forward with what we have to do, and you're always saying what we're trying to do doesn't suit you.
I'm saying I don't believe that you're taking your responsibilities as custodians of the stones and the ancient celebration that comes with it seriously. What you have is a 10-hour... What you have is a 10...
Hold on, everybody.
Listen, we're talking about the bigger picture, not this year, no.
We wouldn't be having this meeting if they weren't taking it seriously, Brian.
Okay.
Well, it's better to have this meeting than to have riot police and helicopters, right?
Hang on.
On English Heritage Park.
Hold on, everybody.
Brian. What we do.
Brian, listen. What you can't do is actively campaign against what the decision is.
I'm not doing that. No, I am not. Show me where am I doing?
Hang on.
Excuse me, where am I?
You just stated you're giving heart to people who want to actually stir things up and come along the next day. You're giving them heart.
I've made a statement about the fact that we have 10 hours over a solstice period to have a solstice celebration. That's what my issue is.
That's a different issue.
That is an issue for next year. That is an issue for next year.
You've been campaigning against this process, suggesting that an alternative gathering takes place on the 22nd. Now, hang on, right? Well, I'm sorry. Then,
sorry, you misread it.
Well,
I have never suggested that.
I'm sorry to say you're going to have to compromise, and at the moment, I don't think you are.
If we could just all join hands and just meditate for a moment on peace and on the future of this project and that it's ongoing. Thanks for that. And above, so below, pubs open, let's go.
We've got to be mindful of the fact that there will be
some determined individuals who will come along deliberately to try it on the 22nd. I've got no doubt that is going to happen. Individuals who actually will sit at the various tables that we sit at, and they are the same ones who are coming along and actually going along and trying to organise these raves. So we've got to be a little bit careful as to what's going on.
The problem we face, you have the hardcore element coming. I'm talking about the people who live in their vehicles and things like that. Can they take those vehicles in or not? You can tell they're hardcore, but
it's not for us to stop them going in there, unless we have got reasonable grounds to say there are offences taking place.
Putting roving interceptor team, I'm almost certain, based on all our experiences here, that we will find offences by using the various stop search powers, section 60, etc.
We have to go on and mean business and start arresting people if necessary. We've got to, because if we give up now, we've lost.
Waiting for my friends to arrive, knowing they're not going to arrive for at least another 2 hours. And they told me they were going to be here 3 hours ago to give us a ride to Stonehenge. So we're going to have a cup of tea, as we do here in England, right? Calm it all down.
Does anybody want to know where the local hospital is?
So we've updated that, haven't we?
It's actually been updated this time.
20 pages of our life over the next 2 days. Doctors, hospitals, contacts, etc. We've planned, we've done everything we can, we put in every measure possible. So it's fairly massive.
There is no reason why we shouldn't work jointly and work well jointly with English Heritage, but it does have to tackle those issues of different culture, being more relaxed about control.
What we just have to wait and see is if there is any residual impact, which is obviously what we were concerned about.
And so quite a litmus test to see if we can pull that off, actually.
And this is the formula for synergy, 1 and 1 equals 11, which I feel like when we come together, we can do amazing things, infinite possibility. Yeah.
Due to the summer solstice tomorrow, Stonehenge has closed early today.
English Heritage start their health and safety preparations for solstice. All the emergency services gather: police, fire and ambulance.
For any inconvenience this has caused you, thank you for your visit. Good night.
And the first solstice worshippers appear in the long grass around the stones. Clue's plan is to hold fast for as long as possible. Whatever the pressure of numbers, open the car parks at midnight and the stones at 2 in the morning. Until then, there's no access to the site.
Take a quick peek.
The National Trust have, as yet, nothing to report.
No sign of anyone?
Nope. Nice and quiet.
Thank you. We need to discourage people from walking down the road, and I'll have a word with security and say that we just literally don't want that huge build-up. So it's 4 hours to go. There should be conditions of entry being given out, and if they're not being given out, that's not great.
More people arriving, traffic's building, and Brian's lift hasn't turned up.
So what happens if you don't get a lift?
Well, we'll work it out. It always works out. Yeah. I find that the more that I relax, it all works out somehow. You know.
There are already people going down the road. They shouldn't be doing that. We're not open for another 6 hours.
I'm sure they were meant to be stopped down there.
Okay.
We're just here for the car park, so but we will let them know.
Thank you. Nick, there are people walking down already. They don't have conditions of entry, and they're already starting to walk down to the monument.
My big exercise in life right now is to just kind of relax and not stress over things.
Hang on, excuse me. It's not open for another 6 hours.
No, that's right.
Okay, we prefer you not to go down there, but we're just going to send everybody else back.
That's fine, I just wanted to go and have a wee, you know.
Okay.
Is that all right?
It's Clues Everard. Mrs. Everard. Yeah.
My friend told me one time, he asked me how I was doing, and I said, oh, I'm standing on the crest of the wave, right? Surfing on the crest of the wave. You know, he says, he said, that's not where the power is. He said, the power is just in front of the wave. You know, and I go, oh my God, does that mean I've got to go in front of the wave? And he said, no. He said, just let that one go. Let that wave go. Because there's always another one behind. And you just position yourself so that when that other wave comes, you can then ride it. He was a surfer. And that was quite significant for me, really. Yeah.
They said it's not my problem, it's the problem at the other end. Well, please can somebody brief them properly?
We're not taught that way. We're taught to, you know, make it work, make it work, make it work, make it work, you know, and worry about it, and you know, you can't trust.
They can't stop people going on a highway, but you don't say that in front of a group of people that are walking down, because we don't want to build up at the monument.
And my ride has not shown up. It has some van trouble. I'm not sure when they're going to show up or if they're going to show up. And here you're going to Stonehenge, so I wonder if maybe we could ride with you.
Will you behave yourselves? Will you behave yourselves?
Of course.
Will we go for it? Yeah, all right.
Brilliant.
We're planning on using the soon.
Good.
I'm Linda.
Okay, Linda, thank you. Nice one.
Great, thanks very much. Thank you, bye. Okay, sorted.
Good job we have another ride. Have a wonderful time, okay? I love you too. I want everyone to have a wonderful time, including myself, and to go home with a glow in my heart, and hope everyone goes home with a glow in their heart, and that we can play the game so that we have a more powerful position to play in the game for next year and years to come.
Whose game is it?
Well, it's all of our games, really.
As the clock ticks, even the Trust falls prey to the prevailing air of tension.
Well, I'm a bit nervous, and the reason for the nervousness is I've seen the website springing up about having a protest for a second day of access.
People are upset. They're upset about the fact that they can only have these 10 hours, you know, they can't come together and have their community gathering without lots of hassle, you know. And so maybe to give people the space to express that would be more healthy than stifling it.
It's not that I have any particular feelings about whether there should be a second day of access. It's the fact that what we don't want to see is a return of the festival.
As solstice traffic clogs Wiltshire roads, English Heritage are coming under pressure to open the car park early.
No, it's staying.
If we can just hold out until sort of the early hours now, before and we're not under too much pressure, then that would be great.
It will be great.
Yeah, the pressure cooker's just starting to fizz.
Where are we? Wait a minute. I think this is the entrance to the car park. Yeah, this is the entrance to the car park.
This is a crazy situation. They're causing chaos. That road's blocked, the one that way's blocked, and so is that one. Hi, we were led to believe there would be a car park we could park.
Yeah,
here
it's
to go
not
to
open till
Stonehenge.
midnight, my love. So you need to carry on and then just try and find somewhere to park around the outside area until it opens. All right.
If you turn yourself round and go through Shrewton, you'll be let in at the other end.
Cheers, thanks very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Hi.
It's always a razor edge in those conversations.
The car park is still not open.
Hi. How are you? Yeah. Hiya. Hello. What's your name, sweetie?
Daryl.
Daryl?
Joel.
Joel, nice to meet you. I'm Brian.
We've opened the car park.
Why?
Because the police said that the pressure on the A303, people have been stuck in traffic for so long, and people are starting to abandon their cars on the 360, and so we've had to do that, just the pressure of traffic, which is not something that we had not anticipated. It's just a shame that we had to do it quite so soon. Okay, right. Please, all of you, remember that this evening is going to be an interesting night, to say the least. You know, if you see anything, please report it immediately. Whole balance on the night is can be destroyed by one person.
A noisy bunch, and so that's basically the whole confusion. Is people arrived at the here to go into the car park, and they weren't allowed in.
And then the police were arguing earlier, and nobody knew what they were going to do.
The English Heritage trying to hold it back as long as possible, and this is, according to English Heritage here, they are pleased to welcome people on a managed open access. This is what they call managed. Well, it's chaos, utter chaos.
The reality is that we have managed to hold off that much longer.
Yeah.
But what we're going to have to be considering is see what the mood is like once they get in the car park, etc.
Yeah.
But then there will come a stage whereby we will, I think, be...
No. That's fine.
Come on, Ed. All right, just be patient, all right? That's all they are.
Do you know which way it is?
With the car park open an hour and a half early, people are streaming towards Stonehenge. But English Heritage is standing fast. No access to the stones.
I think we'll be under pressure to do it before, but we'll just hold out as long as possible.
Right.
That's it. We're just having a quick wander. Just having a look to see what's going on. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Sure, let's wander with you.
We're not allowed in the car park, and we're told that's out of bounds.
No, but you'll be able to come into the monument a little bit later.
I can understand some of what you're saying, but some of it doesn't ring too true.
I know, and a lot of people don't understand, but the thing is, by the time you've got people coming on foot, you've got people coming in cars, you've got all sorts of people here. And we you know...
My partner's never seen it, and now it's... You know, it's almost like a war zone.
No, not at all. It's just we have to manage the health and safety for everybody.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay then, catch you later. Bye-bye.
All the best.
There's always a sergeant of 6 in support of up here at gate 2.
There are 30,000 solstice goers facing 250 police.
Fire the spirit, fire of unconditional love. Yeah, can you turn it off? Excellent. Anyone got a light? This flame is our central flame. It's our central candle.
How many hippies does it take to light a candle?
We're going to be creating a circle together and using our loving intention to create a really positive vibe here, and it's asking for help from all the divine forces who would join us here tonight to really shift our vibration from a one of selfish, negative ego into a loving, pure heart.
Can't take that in, sure.
Can't take it in?
No. They won't let you go.
They won't let us take it in?
They're naked flames inside. You can try, but I know they'll turn it.
Can we put it out and light it back inside?
That would be sensible.
We've got increased numbers at the gates, etc.
Yep.
That there's a view amongst the people that albeit is rumour, etc. over the fact that some are saying they would rush the gates and that sort of thing.
Yeah,
we don't.
no,
the fact they've been there waiting for some time.
Yeah. And, the mood's generally been good. Don't let's spoil it.
And that's right. And I think it's better to take the high ground, as I said before, rather than be forced down that route.
As I say, I think it is now just gone 12:30.
Yeah, so let them in.
We are going to be opening up in the next few minutes. Anna and Edward, we're just about to start. Yeah. Okay. We're ready to rock and roll.
Obviously, all your officers are on the outside behind the barrier, so if we have problems in the lanes, your guys are going to have to come in through the crowd, over.
Bronze commanders are not here.
Oh, apparently the bronze commanders are not here. As soon as we get here, we'll liaise with them.
Alcohol. Any questions? Give me a shout. Nice and easy.
Just have a look. Any glass on you? What's that?
Sharing that connection of one human being, looking into the eyes of another.
We just got to learn how to get along.
And all you're doing is advising them that they're not coming in, all right? You tell them that they're not coming in.
Yep.
Stones are now open. Yeah, and you know, it's National Trust land. No camping, please. So if you could think about moving on soon, please. Okay, thanks very much. It's straight down past the car park and turn left at the end.
To 1, we opened up about 1:45. That's better, you know. I'd have preferred to have gone till 2.
A hell of a lot of people here. We're just going to have to be vigilant and try and do what we've just been doing, which is be firm and polite and create the right atmosphere. Try again. Hello. Hi there. Anyone at home? There's a bit of traffic in the last week. More people saying, hey, man, let's get together and protest. It didn't look joined up. I mean, that's the key thing. Do you see it going somewhere? Do you see people rallying in behind it? The nature of the people here is people out for a bit of a party, actually. Yeah. There's a very strong student feeling to a lot of this. I think they will, they'll maybe start to move on.
Nice atmosphere, though. Yeah?
So far.
Yeah? Good.
Okay. Love is the law. Love is the way. Let's go for it. Voice chords for the heart. I am you and you are me. Together we are making peace. I am you and you are me. Together we will always be as one. As one. As Bring the fire of our spirits together. Our love for each other, for the planet, for our mother.
They call us the counterculture, but we're not, we're the culture. Counterculture is all that other stuff. The culture that we're embracing is the culture that's common to all human beings. Life, freedom, happiness, health, celebration.
All I'm trying to do is make sure that we don't have a problem at the Stones. Managing it, that's all. And recognising the risks.
Be more relaxed. Trust people. And it's worked by not being heavy-handed with people.
enough if you're going to be here, haven't you? You're going to come in and watch the sun. Flowing robes and flaming torches just don't mix. Fortunately, there isn't a great understanding about that. I don't know where they've taken off from. They're very low as well. I mean, it's absolutely dreadful. If one of these came down in this crowd, it's absolutely ridiculous. No, absolutely outrageous. Jerry's sending the helicopter up. Bottle, 2:10. I think don't do it until we've got some other. I'm afraid it's that ruins it. Because it's that people actually see, and that's what people remember. It's really tragic.
Just been at Stonehenge overnight, and the mood there was good. Everyone seems to be dispersing from Stonehenge and heading, I don't know, I'll guess Glastonbury, or for something attached to the festival there, which is only about 3 or 4 days away. Which is exactly what we wanted. We wanted people to come and enjoy it on their own terms, and that's what they're doing.
What house?
An hour to go before the 12 o'clock deadline, by which time everyone is supposed to have left.
There will be some people who will not go, guaranteed.
Sorry, folks, the party is over. The party is over.
Up for us.
It's his birthday.
Hey, mate.
I wedge him today.
You gonna be with us?
Yeah, most people are very amenable. Yeah. They just need that extra encouragement.
The temperature's rising. Pagans aren't moving. Police are gathering. And who's the hero of the hour?
There are a few very difficult people here, and you don't have to be one of them, right? Yeah, that's
We will, we're just going to finish doing this.
Thank you. It's really time to go home now. Yeah. I'm sorry. I know, I'm so sorry. Okay, thanks very much. Yeah, thank you. Time to go home. Time to go home. Santa and Teddy are saying goodbye.
Let's talk it more moving. Let's talk it more moving.
Been cool. Everyone's been really friendly when they've been coming in, and even better than that, people leaving have been saying thank you. God, what could be better, eh? So I think it's gone off well. I think we judged right.
After the fear of 30,000 protesters streaming onto the Trust land, George Fursoff and his 10 followers make their peaceable way toward the heel stone.
You've had a very calm time, I hear.
We have. Very
good
quiet.
day so far.
Yeah. Well, the beat goes on, doesn't it? You know, it's all a movie in the end. You know, if you take the long view, what's going on this little pebble